What is an offer in compromise? An offer in compromise is a program developed by Congress that allows taxpayers to settle for less than they owe with the IRS, sometimes for pennies on the dollar. I'm attorney Darrin Mish, and I've been representing clients before the IRS since 1999. There's three types of offer in compromise. The first is called an offer in compromise based upon doubt as to collectability. In this type of offer, the taxpayer is asserting that there's no way they'll ever be able to full pay the liability. The amount of the offer is based upon a math equation that goes like this. Monthly disposable income times 12 plus the value of the assets equals the amount of the offer. An example would be if you had $300 a month in disposable income times 12, that would be $3,600. And assuming you had no equity in assets, your offer amount would be $3,600. Doesn't matter how much you owe, it only matters how much you can afford to pay. So your offer amount would be the same whether you owed $20,000, $200,000, or $2 million. The second type of an offer in compromise is called doubt as to liability. In this type of offer, which is relatively rare, the taxpayer is asserting that they should be entitled to pay a lower amount because the liability is not actually theirs. A common scenario would be in the case of juniors. So if you have John Smith Sr. and John Smith Jr., and let's say their Social Security numbers are similar but different, if Senior's liability is being assigned to Junior, then Junior might file an offer in compromise based on doubt as to liability, show his proof, and then perhaps settle with the IRS for less than the total amount. These types of offers are relatively rare because there's almost always a different way to resolve the situation. The last type of offer is called effective tax administration. I don't really know why they call it effective tax administration. It's really sort of a silly name if you ask me, but it stands for the following situation. The taxpayer doesn't have much of a monthly disposable income, but has equity and assets. The most classic example, and the one that I've seen many times, is an elderly taxpayer living on a fixed income with a house that's paid in full. If they sold their home, they would be able to pay in full the liability, but if they sold their home, then they'd have to pay rent, which they can't afford on a monthly basis because they're on a fixed income. In these rather rare circumstances, the IRS may accept less than the full amount of the liability and forgive the balance. Those are the three types of offer in compromise, and that's really the only way to make a deal with the IRS to settle for less. You can't just call the IRS and verbally offer them $5,000 in order to settle a $10,000 liability. It just doesn't work that way. The only way you can do it is in the context of what I just described. If you have questions about offers in compromise or really anything dealing with IRS problems, call us at 888-438-6474 or visit our website at getirshelpnow.com.